Let's do power rankings. It's that time.
Let's do it.
So we're gonna do these about once a month, like we did last year. Before we get started, we need to. Not we, because that implies that you're an insane person. Also, I need to set some ground rules or some. Like like when you go bowling with children, like you need the bumpers on either side of the lanes for them. Like I need bumpers because I felt like we did this last 2 years, and the whole time I struggled with like, am I ranking based on championship equity right now? Am I ranking based on play so far this season? Or am I attempting to Frankenstein's monster it and come up with some combination of the two? I feel like category 3 is what most power rankings do. And I hate it because I mean, I get it because it's the right approach, but I also hate it because there are no, like how, even if you were to say it's 50% one thing and 50% the other thing, like how do you quantify? Like you say, like, okay, we'll start like the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks can't defend their way, can't defend anyone this year, and they couldn't
guard a parked car. Yeah,
couldn't guard a parked car. They have a negative net rating that's closer to the bottom of the league than the top, and they certainly don't appear to look like a championship contender right now at all. And yet, in my mind, they're still one of the top 4 likeliest teams to win it all. So, like, am I supposed to take, like, okay, well, 4 plus, 21 is 25 divided by 2. So that I'm supposed to put the Bucks at, like, ranking spot 12.5. Like, I like the fact that we do it because it forces us to grapple with, like, where, you know what? I've just decided this for myself. You ready for this?
Okay. Go ahead.
It's like, how are we feeling? It's not the power rankings. It's the how are we feeling rankings.
Okay. Let me cross out the word power. How we feeling?
I need you to change any and all social media plans or anything. Yeah.
Change the graphic, the back.
Change everything.
How we feeling rankings?
If I see the word power or ranking next to each other on any Knicks Film School thing, I'm
in trouble, everybody.
My shit.
Oh, oops. I'll make sure. Now I know. I'm going to now like super cross out the word power now. Okay.
Get some white. I have extra bottles of white out here because I had to get some white out, and they apparently only sell them in like 4-packs.
You're a teacher. I couldn't tell you the last time I've used white out. I'm big on just rip the page out and start a new one.
It was not for a teaching thing. It was I was probably like forging a document or something.
No, that's like a teacher thing though, where you recognize you're around people or children that make mistakes. Like talks about that a lot. That the supply closet at her school is just like white out and index cards.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start at the bottom or start at the top.
You ask me this every time we do how we feel in rankings, and I always mix it up.
Look at you.
I had to edit myself. Let's start at the bottom.
Okay. I'd rather start at the bottom because I think, for my 2 cents this year, especially, I think the bottom is more interesting than the top. Right now.
Okay.
So, okay. As usual, we do these in tiers. That is not changing. So I'm going to give you, and you insist that I do these in some semblance of order, which I hate you for.
What's the point of calling it rankings if you don't rank them? It is literally in the word. I conceded on power. You're going to give me rankings. Okay.
Fine. Which right off the bat, we have a big challenge because the team that they're not even in the bottom 6 in net rating, but the team that has been the worst team in the league, I think most people would say, has been the Grizzlies. They only have 1 win.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some. It has not been a brutal schedule. I'll go through who they've lost to right now. They lost a game. Their last game, they lost against Miami, who has not exactly been world beaters. Yeah, here's who they've lost to. They've lost to New Orleans, which is, we'll get to them in a bit. That's maybe not. That's it's when that game first happened, we were like, oh, all right, two good teams. Now I don't know if we feel the same way. Then Denver, okay, tough loss. Then Washington, then Dallas, very good record, can't defend. Utah, that's not great. They're the one team that Utah's been able to stop this year. And then a loss at Portland, followed by a win over those same Blazers, their one win, and then a loss to Miami, who's been this year. So it's not like this has not been them facing off against like a schedule full of world beaters. And I'm hemming and hawing already because like the Grizzlies for the season, if I'm like considering where they are and where they will eventually be, should be ahead of at least, 5 to 10 teams that we're going to go through because they're going to get Jon Morant back in 17 games.
But how are we feeling about the Grizzlies?
Not to the point where I'm putting them 30th. So we're going to start in another place. Okay. We're going to start with Washington, a team that does have 2 wins, but they are a bottom 3 defense, and they are more or less as advertised. So sorry, Washington, you start last. You remain last. How much of a pain in the ass would it be for you to type in our chat each ranking? Or should I write it down? I could write it down.
I have it written down. John, you're good.
I have a notebook right here that you purchased for me.
That is true. I did, but you showed up to our watch party with Benji the other night with a stack of index cards to write notes. And it's like, what about a notebook? And you're like, I don't have time to get a notebook. I was like, okay.
And I'm writing it down. You don't have to.
Matter of moments, I ordered some, I think 5 one subject notebooks for you, which you now get to write your wonderful notes on.
Which I'm very, very happy about.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Couple different directions we could go here. I choose to tempt the fates and put 29th, the team that the New York Knickerbockers will be playing on Sunday afternoon, and that is the Charlotte Hornets.
So here's my first pushback.
What?
And I know why you're putting the Hornets there, even though the Wizards just like beat the Hornets on the road. But talk about teams the Knicks just played. The Knicks just also beat the team with the worst net rating in the league. We're gonna by a ton.
We're gonna get to them in short order.
Okay, I'm just surprised they're not. I know you're not. It's good that you're mixing up, and it's not just a ranking of net rating. And the Spurs do have 3 wins too against Phoenix, but they're the team that I think are clearly the least talented of the teams of these 3.
So Devin Vassell only played 15 or so minutes last night. I think with Vassell at full strength, and that's a guy that plays 30 plus minutes for them, I think they're a little bit of a different team. I think he's a big impact player for them. And I got to tell you, this is going to sound nuts because the Knicks had him down by 30 and they ended up winning by about 20. I think that team has some fight. And I think, obviously, look, they're young, they're inexperienced. I'm not putting them below Charlotte, who has given up in their last 5 games 133, 128, 124, 124, and 132 points. Their last 5 games. I don't know what Charlotte's doing, other than to say I know what they're not doing. They're not taking threes. The Charlotte Hornets take fewer threes than any team in basketball. 28% shots of their shots are threes, which is like, what are you doing? I get it. They also balance it out by taking more shots at the rim than anybody in the league, but they don't I'm curious to see how they look when we play them on Sunday. But anyway,
so again, I don't want to spend too much time on the bottom 3 teams in the league. But you just went through Charlotte's last 5 games and points they've given up, right?
Yes.
So the Spurs have only once given up less than 120 points. And it's the game against the Suns where they had that crazy comeback and the steal at the end.
I just think the Spurs are better.
Where I'll agree with you on the how we feeling rankings is I'm more disappointed in the Hornets.
Exactly.
So that I think is a better
how we feel.
We're cooking. I'm more disappointed with the Hornets. And thank you for putting Washington 30th, because how I'm feeling is they're going to lose 70 games. So
I don't think they will lose 70 games, but
fine, 65. They're not going to win a ton of games this year.
We'll see.